As spawning in the top right-hand corner, of ley lines, we have the American Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing, or I should say currently teamless, representing himself, currently teamless but deserving to be on a team. It is Astrea. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player, also currently teamless, also deserving to be on a team. It is YoungYakov. Here we go. We have our PvZ here. And the two players that we don't often see face off against each other, so again, this is why I do appreciate out of these open cups, we get to experience these different regions clash here. Like turtles, they be tussling. Crazy. As we have Astrea going for his gate expand, probe scout across the map, likewise YoungYakov going for a hatch gas pool. Hatch first opener here from the Zerg player. No 15-15. Also, before I forget, of course, unless I've already done it. Yeah, predictions. Predictions, they should be open in the chat. There we go. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat with those predictions. Sorry, I'd confused myself for a moment there if I'd already opened them or not. I was very confused. It's all good. But now hatch gas full, standard opener here out of YoungYakov. Probe scout does confirm that as well, so Astrea, he is fully aware. Being as annoying as possible, trying to force some inefficient mining in the main. Likewise, Astrea across the map, just settling into his own build of choice as well. Now, what we do know about Astrea, of course, especially in this matchup, is that he does often come up with his own builds. He does often not always play standard. He can, don't get me wrong, he can play standard. He can go triple Oracle into a third base, into a more standard setup with +1 Blink Stalkers, or he could just be more chaotic instead and embrace, you know, something like a Sky Toss Rush with a second Stargate. He can go into a Robo follow-up into faster Disruptors. Like, Astrea definitely has a lot up his sleeve. I'll be honest, I haven't seen as much Astrea as I want to in the new PTR. We have seen a lot of Astrea against Terran. We've seen a lot of Astrea versus Bjorn, for example, over the past month, if not 2 months, but Astrea against Zerg is something that I do want to experience more of, and we'll see what he goes for. What comes to mind here, we did cast Astrea versus Solar. That was around a month ago. That was very intense. I say a month ago, I think it was like the first week or the second week of the PTR, and it was very close between the two of them. It was really cool to see Astrea make use of the NG overcharge and make use of the High Templar defensively against Solar's all-ins. It was very close. Solar did win it in the end, but I want to see how Astrea has adapted to the patch over the past couple of weeks. For now though, Dep shades away. Just keeping tabs here on YoungYakov. Likewise, Astrea going for the Stargate into Oracle into a third. So far everything is looking as it should. Looking standard, nah, looking standard. Oh, I say that, it's going to be Oracle into a Void Ray, actually. Okay, yeah, my intention. There's the NG overcharge on the Oracle as well. Is now full of energy. Expansion is being taken. And the Overlord Scout will confirm the follow-up Void Ray. Now, this Void Ray, its goal is going to be to hunt down these Overlords. Because there's no second Oracle yet, it does mean that there's going to be less harass across the map. It means that the likelihood of YoungYakov losing many drones is quite low here. Yeah, there's a Revelation instead. Yakov will defend, will hold. Doesn't lose any drones yet. And I'm curious what Astrea is hiding, if anything at all. This can lead into a Twilight Council, but oh, my apologies, leads into a Forge, and the Overlord does confirm. So a very important scout there from Yakov. Does get eyes on the Forge. That should tell him that it's going to be a standard follow-up. Into +1, into potentially Blink, or maybe even Charge, one of the two. Oracle still being active. There is no second Oracle. So Astrea preserving a lot of gas there. Throwing down extra gateways. Charge going to be on the way, so something much more aggressive here for Astrea. This can lead into Archon support as well. Speaking of, there's that Temple Archives. And now we see why Astrea, he has been cutting some corners here when it comes to making extra Stargate units. It is going to be for the faster Archons. I mean, this can also lead into Storm. I mentioned before how we saw Astrea flex his fast Storm build against Solar, against Solar's eventual all-in. That was a couple of weeks ago. I'm curious if we're headed there as well. Into faster Storm. Void Ray gets across the map, gets 2 drones. Not bad. 2 workers from the Void Ray. Creep is being denied. YoungYakov, he is saturating his 3rd. Saturating more than that. Getting up to 65 workers. Oh, and we see YoungYakov's tech of choice. I was curious if it was going to be for the Hydrogen, but no. We do have a safety Roach Warren, but it's going to be into the Spire instead. Spire is on the way, further back in the natural. Astrea is unaware. Going for a gateway explosion. Taking extra gases. Oh, and Astrea is going to be moving out. Storm is on the way. But Astrea, he's going to be waiting here for his War Prism before he does push, and we'll see if Astrea can hit before there are too many mutas on the field. There's going to be a window here where, of course, YoungYakov is banking up and preserving his resources for mutas. At the same time, Astrea pushes. Astrea is pushing here and now, just waiting for that War Prism to reinforce. Is taking a 4th base behind this. Astrea is not all in by any means. War Prism's on the way. Astrea, he's going to be forcing out more Lings and Roaches. The Spire is done, but YoungYakov, he can't actually make use of it. Okay, he has to produce Roaches here. Nice force fields. To keep YoungYakov at bay. At the same time, Ling counter take care towards the 4th. Zelta back at him to defend. Astrea, he does back off, does retreat. Up. Once again, delaying the push. But the sentries are exposed. The Archons are getting caught out. Up. He gets 1. Yeah, 1 Archon should fall. Yakov, though, he wants the other. He gets both. Yeah, 2 Archons kills. Massive pick off at the same time. A War Prism counterattack across the map. But Yakov, he keeps pushing. He keeps going. Storm is done, but that's a lot of Roaches. Oof. Double Storm with the Roach Ravager. Big connections. There is another Storm available. But the Roaches, they go for the dive. They focus on one of the High Templar. They force in an Archon. Astrea, he will hold, he will defend. But throughout all of this, the mutas. The Spire did finish. 10 mutas are on the way, and I believe Astrea has no idea. He has not scattered. Now he knows. The mutas reveal themselves. Phoenix production has begun. Yakov going for a link counterattack towards the 4th base. And the 4th is looking quite exposed. There's a warp in though. Astrea, he does respond in time. Does defend his 4th. Mutas, they do find the Void Ray. Void Ray goes down, but no economic damage yet. Which is really what YoungYakov is hoping for. Oh my god. The Archons are ready. The natural, the 3rd base is exposed. Probes are finally going down. Oh my god, 7 probe kills. 7 workers getting 8, getting 9. It's a 10 so far. Phoenix taking a lot of hits. Does get 1 muta. Get a 2nd muta and potentially a 3rd. Yeah, it does get a 3rd muta as well. So as the dust settles, that was 3 mutas for 13 probes. I mean, still good damage here from YoungYakov, and he's not making any more mutas. He's now focusing on purely Roach Ravager. Building up Roach Ravager. Meanwhile, Astrea is getting a 2nd Stargate. We'll see if he makes use of it. I do appreciate that Astrea, he's holding off on making more Phoenixes until he gets eyes on any further muta production. So he has 2 Stargates, but he's not making use of it. Doesn't need to. Does not need to. Say that Mutazator in the natural. YoungYakov has built up a massive Ling Ravager army. And Astrea, is he ready for it? Does he have any High Templar? He has 4. 4 High Templar, 4 Storms. Mutazator dive in. And they get 1. 1 High Templar goes down. 2 storms left. Oof. Another High Templar falls, and another as well. Massive pickups. Very nice target firing out of YoungYakov. He picks up all the High Templar. But the main army just falls to the Immortals. Oh my god. Respect the Immortals, man. Who needs Storm? When you have Archon and Immortal, Astrea holds. And he takes the supply lead. As impressive as it was at YoungYakov, he was able to snipe all the High Templar. At the same time, did cost him a lot of supply. And now Astrea takes the supply lead. Yakov trying to transition into Roach Hydra. Is there a Lurker Den? There is not. No Lurker Den, no Hive either. It's purely Roach Hydra. There's soon to be 1 storm with this army. Astrea needs a little bit more time. Oh, without a storm. There they come. The Templar, they come in. Once again, one of them gets started down. Oof. Storms are being forced out. Another High Templar falls. Astrea getting punished here for overextending. He is punished hard. At the same time, Zelda get a kill here on the 5th. They make sure that we're on an even base count. 4 bases for the Zerg, 4 bases for the Protoss. Fleet Beacon's almost done, plus 1 air attack, and Astrea is getting ready for Sky Toss. Another High Templar! Gets another! The High Templar goes down. An Archon as well, very nice starter stepping here from YoungYakov. He won't be able to keep pushing though, and he's going to be punished for this. By the Phoenixes. Catching every Ravager. And YoungYakov, he can't take this fight! Leading out even more Roaches. Zelsay busts into the natural, drones are going down. And earlier, YoungYakov, he had some momentum, but now not anymore. It's been stripped away. 3 drone kills, the army's forced back home. Still no Hive. And still no answer to Sky Toss. I mean, we're not getting there yet, but we can. Astrea can get there. They can run right towards the top side. Gets caught out by the stasis. Astrea just committing to mass Immortal. 2 Immortals at a time. And there it is. Finally, we have something being made use of here from the Fleet Beacon. It is going to be the Mothership. Mothership is on the way. No carriers yet. As Astrea takes another expansion, takes a 5th. Going for a 6th base as well. Something you don't see too often. A Protoss player that is up in bases compared to the Zerg. It's a 4-base Zerg against soon to be a 6-base Protoss. YoungYakov is pretty committed at this point. He's pretty all in. He's cutting workers at 68. Zelsay hits the fresh mining base here, or the most important mining base here of YoungYakov. Has to turn around. Has to respect it. Pulls back, deals with the run by. Roach Hydra hits the would-be sick. Also, I didn't notice, but both center bases have high yield gases. That's crazy. Oh my god. And likewise, we can see some of the features here of this map as well. The storms, they annihilate the Hydras. But this map is quite defendable here. Not just because of the ransom, but because of the choke points as well. Nice spread from YoungYakov. But the storms, they still get quite a bit of damage dealt. Zealots are breaking through, but not enough Zealots. Maybe barely enough. As Astrea, he holds. Does hold on. He's making 4 carriers at a time. Oh my god. He's got 4 Stargates. All the carriers. And Yakov, again, he's stuck on Roach Hydra. He's stuck on a mid-tier army. On Lair Tech. There's no Hive. There's no Infestation Pits. No Vipers. No Lurkers. No Corruptors either. And GG gets called. There's no final fight as the writing was on the wall, and Astrea, he takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Astrea does take a lead. And again, YoungYakov, he was committed. He was committed. He had no longevity in that game. He had no 5th base, no even 4-base saturation. He was stuck at 68 workers. Just, yeah, a really rough mid-game there for YoungYakov as he was just outscaled or outpaced over the course of that game. And GG, Astrea does take game 1. Now we're getting ready here for game 2. See someone asking in the chat, and there is an accurate response as well. Someone's asking, what was the opener? Why were the Phoenixes? It was a standard opener for the most part. It was Oracle into Void Ray, so technically not the most standard opener, but it was still just a Stargate opener into a third. That's important. And the only reason why there were Phoenixes is because of the revelation of the mutas. YoungYakov did go mutas. As a response, Astrea did throw down a second Stargate and did start Phoenix production. So just reactive play from Astrea to help deal with the mutas. And here we go. We're getting into game 2, getting into Amygdala. Here we go. Getting into game 2. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the American Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself, but also leading the series 1-0. Needs Unamas one more game to advance on to the grand finals. It is Astrea. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player down in the series, but we'll see if he can bounce back and force that game 3. It is YoungYakov. Go. So load into Amygdala, as opposed to the previous map, which is very defendable on your 3, 4, and 5 base setup. Here on Amygdala, your bases are more exposed. This third base here is very wide open, can be attacked from the top side, from the right side. Likewise, the fourth base also is exposed here to the elements, to the center of the map if you do take the gold. So it can be quite difficult here to defend against more aggressive builds. If YoungYakov were to go for something like a 2 base or a 3 base all-in, I would favor that, depending on whether or not it gets scattered or not, but I can see aggression working quite well. We have seen historically aggression work quite well on Amygdala. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on YoungYakov. Likewise, we'll see if Astrea does go for his own unique variation as well. As a reminder, last game, Astrea, he actually cut additional Oracle production for a faster kind of Templar Archives and Archon Storm kind of transition. So Astrea was cutting corners in a sense, and he was a little bit more vulnerable early on, just to be able to get into the mid-game in a stronger position. And Astrea did get away with it. I mean, it was still very back and forth, as we were pointing out at the time. YoungYakov, he was fighting quite well in the mid-game, when it came to sniping High Templar and denying storms, but he was still just having a hard time keeping up with the momentum and the economy of Astrea, because that is something that Astrea had over YoungYakov. Something that I was trying to emphasize is, after a certain point, Astrea took a worker lead and took a base lead, and he just snowballed from there. He's able to outpace YoungYakov. But here we go. For now, we're settling in. For now, we are just going for a Stalker first. Interesting. Stalker first, it doesn't have to mean it's going to be a Twilight Council opener, but it can lead into it. Speaking of, yep, Twilight Council. Now, the reason why a initial Stalker opener does lead to this is because a Stalker is designed to deny the Overlord Scouts. Astrea. Ooh, Astrea, he does overshoot. A bit of miscontrol here. The Overlord is going for the main, and that's a lot of HP here. Does the Overlord get a scout off? This should not have happened. This should not have happened. The Stalker, it was asleep on the jump path. Yay. It's going to be close to the Overlord. It looks like it will get within range, and it does confirm the Twilight Council. Okay, so a big moment here for YoungYakov. Again, this shouldn't have happened. That is the purpose of going Stalker first, is to deny the scouts, and Astrea, he failed in that. This I was not expecting, though. What I was going to say with a Twilight Council opener is, okay, should be Glaives or it should be a Dark Shrine. It's going to be Blink. It's going to be Blink with a proxy across the map. It is going to be very committed, essentially a 2-base all-in from Astrea. Meanwhile, the Stalkers, they're hunting down to the Overlord. Now, because YoungYakov saw the Twilight Council, he knows to be safe. He knows to throw down an early Roach Warren. He knows to be prepared for aggression in some way, shape, or form. Oh my god. As 2 Stalkers have arrived, they threaten the natural, the third even. Picking up a Ling here or there. How many gateways? There's going to be 1 gateway in the main. There's going to be 2 here at the natural. We're getting up to 4 gates back at home and a 5th gate across the map. This is straight up a 2-base all-in. It's a 2-base all-in from Astrea. I think he can afford a 6th gateway. Yep, there it is. There is that 6th gateway here. So 6 gate 2-base all-in with Blink Stalkers. And And YoungYakov is bleeding out some Lings, he's bleeding out some drones. Roach Warren is on the way. But until then, Astrea just being so assertive early on with a handful of Stalkers, and he's achieving a lot of damage. This is getting out of hand. This is getting out of control. I mentioned before that I do favor aggression on Amygdala. I assumed that YoungYakov was going to be the aggressor, not Astrea. And Astrea snowballing out of control. He does already get one queen kill. Roaches are amassing. Link speed is on the way. But Astrea is trading well here against these Lings. So many Lings go down, and the hatchery, it's so close to falling as well. The queen! Oh! He gets one! Oh, clutch transfuse. Saves the queen. Blink is done. And with these Blink Stalkers, there's no shot. Astrea snowballing out of control. He gets some of the Roaches. Queen's to get the hell out of there. The Roach count is building up. It's getting there for YoungYakov, but the hatchery, it falls. Yakov is down to 2 bases. And what's scary about that is that that doesn't just impact the economy, that impacts the production. Yakov is down to 2 base production here. Desperately injecting to work with whatever lava he has left. Astrea still rallying in. Yes, the Spine Crawler. I'm afraid to look. How many Stalkers has Astrea lost this game? 1. I was afraid to look, Pappy. There we go. Finally, no, not even. Nice Blink control. Astrea doesn't lose another Stalker. Still only 1 Stalker going down for 29 Lings. A hatchery, a Spine Crawler, a Queen, a Roach. The efficiency has been insane. He rotates. He denies the third base once again. And we're hitting critical mass of Stalker. So he's getting to critical mass here. It's becoming too much. The proxy is scouted. YoungYakov finally has found it. He's going to try and lock it down, but he won't be able to. Oh, gets a second Stalker. That's 2. 2 Stalkers have fallen. Let's go. I mean, the Ravager count is building up. I mean, we are building up more Roaches and Ravagers, true. But yeah, GG gets called. The writing was on the wall as YoungYakov was being starved out. The efficiency was insane. And Astrea will take the series 2-0. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Astrea with a very unorthodox build, an unusual all-in. It was a 2 base, 6k blink all-in out of Astrea, gaining a lot of momentum early on. Now YoungYakov did scout the Twilight Council, but I think he just assumed it was going to be a later push with Glaive Adepts or with Dark Templar, so he assumed that he would have more time to drone up a little bit before investing into his army. As we saw Astrea, he moved out immediately with the first 2 Stalkers. With the first 2 Stalkers, he was already picking off Lings, and then he quickly built up to 3, into 4. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that early on, he was getting so much value, denying mining time, getting damage on the hatchery, killing Lings, killing drones, killing queens. And it all built up over time. It was just this slow accumulation of damage. And on top of that, the slow accumulation of Stalkers as well, as Astrea was losing none of them. He lost 2 Stalkers in that game. Crazy. GG. GG, well played. Astrea does take it. And we have our 2 finalists. We have the grand finals getting ready for us here. It's going to be a PvT between Astrea and Beyond. Let's go.